know him, you have to discover also this interview. We will talk about our brain, the power of our brain, success, and how we can stop procrastination. So follow this interview, you will love it. Hello John.
Hey, good to see you.
How are you today?
Très bien, excellent.
I will subtitle in English.
Subtitle in English. Très bien just means very good.
Oh yes, me too. I'm very glad to do an interview with you. I would like to let you to introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm just an average person, and just like everybody else, who wants to have purpose in their life, who wants to have meaning in their life, who wants to achieve as much as I can while I'm alive, to make a difference in the life of as many people as I can with the gifts that God gave me and the interests and the passions that I have, and to somehow, in a little way, leave a mark on the world that makes a difference, while I'm here and when I move on to the next dimension of life.
Okay, so you are today an entrepreneur, also a teacher, a brain researcher, and the goal for you is to help people to grow.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a lot of my own challenges. I didn't have confidence in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I had some big challenges, with the law, and getting into trouble in school and getting into trouble outside of school. And I was really fortunate. When I was 19 years old, I met a wonderful gentleman who was very successful with his family. He was very successful giving to charities. He was very healthy. He was very gentle and kind. And he really wanted to do good in the world, not just for himself, but to make the world a better place. And he started to teach me that the reason I was getting into trouble, the reason I wasn't getting great results, was what I believed about myself. And he taught me the power of my beliefs. He taught me the power of what I do every single day matters. He taught me the power of the intelligence in the universe, that I could utilize my brain like a radio sends a signal out into the universe. He said you could send a signal out using the power of your thoughts. He says, but you're also capable of receiving information, just like the great inventors, whether it was Albert Einstein, whether it was Edison, Michelangelo, any of the great inventors. They had these ideas that came to them, and they were just normal human beings, but they took advantage of the messages that they were getting in their hearts and their intuition.
Wow.
And so he taught me some of the power of the brain, and by using what I learned that I could achieve a lot more than I ever thought was possible when I was younger. And so now I want to take what I've learned for 33 years and teach it to other people to make the path for them a little bit easier.
Yeah, great. And how did you meet him?
He was actually a client of my brother. My brother's a tennis pro, and he used to play the professional, pro circuit. And when he came back from playing the pro circuit when he was in his, early 30s, he got a job at a tennis club, and this man was one of his clients at the tennis club.
Wow.
And my brother said, hey, listen, you're getting in a lot of trouble, and maybe if you talk to this man, he can help you. And so I went to meet with this man, and he asked me, why do you think you're getting in trouble? And I said, I don't know. He says, but you're getting in trouble. I said, I know.
You were conscious about your trouble?
Yeah, I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was getting into a lot of trouble, and I was doing some very dangerous things that I could have either died or gone to jail for. And when he started to share with me, to teach me that my entire reality was based on what I believed was real and what I believed was true about myself, about what's possible, and that I could change that, that's when my life started to change. And he said, if you start to change the way you think, and you start to learn every day for 1 hour to upgrade your knowledge and your skills, and then you take action every day on the things that are the most important instead of all the different things that you can do. He says, if you focus on doing 3 to 5 things every day towards your goals, he says in 1 year, you'll be at a totally different destination. 3 years, big distinction. 5, 10 years, your life won't be the same. And I was tired of living a mediocre to less than mediocre life. And so I said, listen, you seem to have a good plan and a good path. You're making millions of dollars, you're giving a lot of money to charity, you're happy, you're healthy, You've got a great family. I want that. And he said, if you want that, follow the blueprint. Don't try to figure it out, just follow the blueprint. And that was another lesson that he shared with me, is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
Like if you want to fly right now, you don't have to figure out how to fly. You know, there's already a blueprint for how to generate or create an airplane.
Yeah.
So if you want to be healthy, there's already a blueprint. If you want to make more money, there's already a blueprint. If you want to buy real estate or the stock market or start a business and grow a business, there's people before us that have already got the blueprint. And all you have to do is paint the numbers inside the box, and then you can use your creativity. So I just became a very good follower for a long time of things that worked. And when you follow things that work, it's like having the combination to a safe. If somebody gives you the combination to a safe and they tell you turn this way a little bit, 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 then open it, you can have access to it. But most people don't look for the combination, and then even when they get the combination, they try it in the wrong order. And so I learned at a very young age, thank God, you know, to at least follow the initial plans. Then if you want to get creative, then you could add your creativity, your genius to that as well.
It's great, I love that.
Yeah.
And you say something very interesting. You say that you focus every day at least 1 hour on the main things, the important things for you. How do you know what is the main things? For example, a lot of people have a lot of ideas every day, and they, oh, I can go there, I can go there, I can do that, I can do that. How do I know what is important?
Sure, the first thing that you have to ask is, what are your highest values? So for me, for example, my number one highest value is God. My number 2 value is my health. My number 3 value is my family. My number 4 value is contribution to the lives of others. My number 5th value is fun. So every day when I wake up, I think about, what am I doing today to connect with God? For me, just for me. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's not religious, it's just for me. Then what do I need to do every day to make sure that I'm healthy? What I need to do every day to make sure that my family and my dear close friends who are part of my family, that I have the relationship that's rich. Then contribution. How do I use my passion, my gifts, my stories, my things I've not done well, things I have done well? How do I share that with the world? And in doing that, I feel good. And then I have to have fun. And so if I do those 5 things every day, then at the end of every day, I've had a great day. And if you have a lot of great days, then you end up with a really great life. And that doesn't mean that you don't have ups and downs and things that don't work and trouble that happens and things that come up. But if you keep your focus on what's important, then the rest of the stuff is really inconsequential. And there isn't 100 different things you have to do. There's 2 or 3 things in each one of the areas that's important to you. That when you do those every day, you're so far ahead of the curve. So I have daily rituals.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What is your ritual?
So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I do a gratitude exercise, where I ask myself, usually in bed, what am I most grateful for today? And usually, you know, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my wife, I'm grateful for my children, I'm grateful to be alive, I'm grateful, you know, for my family, I'm grateful to have experiences. And
do you do that eyes closed?
Yeah, I do that eyes closed, and while I think about that, I feel it. And so the feeling starts every day with a great feeling. So I start every day with a great feeling.
Do you visualize some things, like your children, or do you talk to yourself? How do you do that?
Yeah, I have an internal dialogue. I see images of the things that I'm thinking about, and that just takes me 2 minutes, just 2 minutes when I wake up. And then I go to exercise to take care of my body.
How long?
Usually 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes every day. And so I do a variety of different things. I hike, I bike, I work on aerobics, I work on strength, I work with weights. I do whatever it is, I just do it to give my body the physical exercise. Then as soon as I finish my exercise in my gym,
1 hour and half.
an hour and 15 minutes at the most. So then in my gym, I have two things. I have a vision board, which is my dream board for my
You are known for that.
Yes. So I have my vision board for my physique and my body and my health. But then I also have in my gym something called an achieved board.
Okay,
So
what
after
you
I
achieved,
achieved some of the things that I achieved,
past and future.
no, achieved in the past.
Yes, so past, you have
Yes.
the past and the future. Vision
Correct.
board and
Yeah.
achieved board.
So I have in my gym, in my home gym, I have like a place where I sit, and before I start my meditation, I look at my vision board from the past.
Okay.
So I get connected to the different things that I've been able to achieve, and I remember every day when I set my mind and my focus to achieving goals, I can achieve all of my goals. So I
I
start.
love that. It is something that I didn't know that you do that.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful because you teach your brain to focus on the emotion you felt in the past.
Right, but what I also do is I reinforce. Most people focus on what's not working. This isn't going well, this didn't work. I want to remind myself every day of look how many things I was able to accomplish by being clear, by being passionate, by using these rituals. So before I go into my meditation, which is with my eyes closed, I look at my achieved board. I get emotionally associated with it to remind myself that when I set my mind to achieve something, I can do it. And then I look across, because I have a mirror in the gym, and I look across and I say, I love you just the way you are. And I say, I accept you just the way you are, with all of your skills and passion and faults and insecurities and doubts and fears. I accept you just the way you are.
Wow,
And I smile, and then I close my eyes, and I do about a 15-minute meditation. And in my meditation, sometimes I have no thoughts, where I'm just one with the universe and everything. Other times, I'll just follow my thoughts, and I'll just pay attention, be mindful of where are they going this morning? Where are they going today? So I'll follow my thoughts, and I'll just follow them. Other times, I'll follow a thought and say, release that one. And follow another thought and say, release that one. So I'm teaching my brain that I'm in control of my brain. See, most people don't realize that they are not their brain, but their brain is an organ. No different than your heart, no different than your legs, no different than your hand. And since we're not our brains, we can learn how to use the different parts of our brain. And so I've been doing many years of studying on the brain. And if you don't understand the different parts of your brain, that's like having a sports car in your driveway, but you don't know how to turn it on, or you don't know how to change the gears, or you don't know how to put on the radio, you don't know how to turn the heat on.
Yes, you have a powerful machine, but you don't use it.
You have a powerful machine, but you don't use it. And most people, not because they're dumb, it's because most people have never been taught how powerful their brains are, and for a simple reason that we haven't really known how powerful it is. We've had ideas, we've thought about it, but for the first time in the history of our species, hundreds of thousands of years on the planet, we're finally, in the last 10, 12 years, able to look a little bit inside the brain. And there's more circuitry in your brain than there is in all the telephones connected in the whole world. There's more circuitry in your brain than there are stars. And so when you start to go, wow, there's some real power within me, and if I learn how to use it a little bit better, maybe I could be happier, healthier, wealthier, have more purpose, have more meaning in my life. And when you ask yourself, like, what do most people want? Well, I want to know that my life mattered. I want to know that I'm loved, or at least liked. I want to know that my life has got some kind of purpose, or I don't have a real great existence. And so when you start to realize that you have so many gifts on top of the challenges that we all have, everybody has problems, everybody has things they're insecure about, They don't have confidence around, they don't have certainty. But that's everybody. So the key is to understand that we have an amazingly powerful tool that creates our reality, and we're able to teach it to look for and find what we want it to create. So reality doesn't exist outside of here. We're in the field of everything. And we can teach our brain to see things that we didn't see before. We can change our habits. We can develop, it's something we call deliberate conscious evolution. So we could deliberately choose to evolve ourselves, where in the past we thought that you have to wait 1,000 years or 10,000 years or 100,000 years to change. No, that's old school thinking. We can change now. We can change the neural patterns in our brain, the software, just like a computer software. We have, our body is the hardware, our brain is the operating system, and then our beliefs, right, is the software, and our habits are the software that runs everything, gives us the results.
Yeah.
And we're finally learning some techniques and tools to tweak the machinery better.
Yes, we have to talk about that. You just gave so many keys, and I have some questions I would like to ask you, because you told about ritual. How do you do to do a lasting ritual? Because a lot of people start to do ritual, 10 mornings, it's good, 1 month, 2 months, and they stop.
Yeah.
And for myself, I do that sometimes. I start something and I stop it. And you have a huge ritual. It's not 10 minutes, it's 2 hours. How do you do to be persistent?
Well, all of the latest research shows that it takes an average of 66 days. In the old days, it used to be 21 days, but that's just because of an old book back in the 1970s called Psycho-Cybernetics, and that was Maxwell Maltz. He noticed that when people had facial reconstruction done through plastic surgery, that even when they looked in the mirror after the surgery, they didn't see a change. And it took about 21 days for them to start saying, oh wow, okay, I can see some differences. And he realized that it wasn't the eyes that see, it's the brain that sees. Yeah. And so the brain shifts through repetition. So when we talk about how do we create rituals or how do we change habits that last, the first thing is to have a different expectation than I'm going to change in a day or a week or in 21 days. Whenever I try to change anything, my number one rule is 100 days or I don't even start. So if I want to, let's say, stop caffeine, it's a 100-day commitment. So first I make longer-term commitments, and then I design a plan to retrain my brain around the expectation of following through. I make pre-commitments in advance. So if I say, let's say I'm going to stop drinking coffee. I say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking coffee. I commit to it for 100 days. And then I write out, well, what will you do in the morning when you wake up and you want a coffee? What will you do when you're at a restaurant with friends and everybody's having a coffee? What will you do? So you counter any of the behavior when you know the trigger is going to happen. Every habit has 3 parts to it. There's something that triggers the emotion, there's the behavior, and then there's the neurological and biological reward. So when you understand the habit part of any ritual, you understand that because we are conditioned a certain way, we're going to have a trigger. Whether it's a flower, whether it's waking up, whether it's a girl or a guy or children coming home, it triggers a response in the brain or reaction in the brain. Well, if we change the behavior over the course of 100 days, we'll still get the reward. And if we pre-commit to what we're going to do when we say, maybe today I'll have the coffee and tomorrow I won't. Maybe today I'll have the pizza or the dessert and I'll catch up tomorrow. Well, if you pre-commit in advance that you're not going to take that action, then that's step 1. Step 2 is when you have the trigger, if you interrupt the behavior for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, you interrupt the neural pattern in the brain also. So you come up with strategies. When I feel like having a coffee or dessert or the pizza or the croissant, okay, then here's what I'm going to do instead for 5 minutes, and that way I can interrupt the pattern. If you do that long enough, you'll start to develop a new neural pattern, you'll start to develop a new behavior, and if you do it for at least 66 days, but preferably 100 days, you'll start to develop a new way of thinking and being and doing that will overshadow the other pattern in the brain.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so there's a psychology behind it, but there's also the neurological processes of the brain. And what happens is our brain doesn't like change.
Yeah.
So anytime that there is change, the brain feels uncomfortable. As soon as it feels uncomfortable, it'll send signals to the motor cortex of the brain. It'll send messages, and we'll start to rationalize. We'll start to tell ourselves, well, I shouldn't do it because of this. Well, maybe today's not a good day. Well, I'll start today, but I won't continue till next week. Or, you know what, I really don't want this. And we start to talk to ourselves. And when we understand what the brain does whenever we try to change, then we can start being in control of the brain, and we can override the automatic responses. There's something called automaticity. And automaticity states that anything that I repeat over and over and over again over a period of time will go from conscious effort, deliberate conscious effort, willpower or persistence, and it'll become automatic. So we just have to know how long that is. And some things take a week, some things take 60 days. Some habits that people have for 20, 30, 40, 50 years take 200 days. And so you start off with a 100-day window, and you ask yourself, am I willing to give a little bit of effort for 100 days to remove this destructive either thought pattern or destructive behavioral pattern in order for me to have something greater and better than what I have right now?
So it's very important. You focus a lot on what you will have or who you will be in the future to keep your motivation.
Yeah, if you think about this, one of the best examples that I ever came up with is, imagine if I give you a Hollywood script right now, okay? And I say to you, if you learn this script for the next 6 months, I will give you $10 million to be on stage to deliver that. We're gonna film you, and if you're amazing, you're gonna have a chance to win an Academy Award. What will you do with the script starting today?
I start to learn.
You start to learn, you start to read it, you start to emotionalize it, you start to practice it, you start to do everything possible to become something that's in writing. Something that came out of somebody's head, that they wrote a script for, that you don't have any idea what it is. But if you made a commitment to becoming that person, and you rehearsed it and practiced it every day, you wouldn't get it right the first day, or the first week,
or the first month.
or the first month. But if you knew there was a big payday, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and that people would go to the theaters and love to watch it, and they'd laugh or cry or be sad or be happy because you were able to take them on a beautiful emotional roller coaster ride, then you would become that role.
Yeah.
Most people are interested, they're not committed. And the difference is, when you're interested, you do what's convenient and what's easy. But when you're committed, you do whatever it takes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it?
Sure. When you're interested, you do what's easy and what's convenient for you.
Yeah.
But when you're committed, I'm going to get that result, you put everything into it until you get the result. And so I always ask all of my clients, Are you interested in achieving that and stopping that? Or are you committed and you'll do whatever it takes? Because ultimately, people have to make a decision what they want to trade their life for. Because every day, we're trading our life for the people that we associate with, for the business or job that we have, for what we eat, for the health, for the enjoyment, for the fun, for the experiences. And you have to ask yourself, is my life worth trading for that? If it's not, today is a good day to stop.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
But most people don't think that they're trading their life, for something. They think that, there's tomorrow and there's next week. Really? Well, I have, evidence to prove otherwise, that we have no idea, when the last breath will be.
Yeah.
So let's trade our life every day as it's the most important thing in the world. And not from an ego perspective, from a humble, grateful perspective of, wow, I get another day to live and to enjoy.
You can be grateful for that.
Grateful for that, but then to respect it. See, respecting your life means you're going to trade it for things that you feel are worthy of it. Most people, ask themselves the wrong question. They ask themselves, am I worthy of the goal and the dream that I have? And they should be asking themselves, is that goal, that dream that I have worthy of my life? Change the question. And if you say, yeah, I'll trade my life for that, good, then go and do that. And you mentioned something before that I want to just touch upon. If you have a big enough reason why you want to achieve something, you'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But if your reason isn't big enough, your excuses will be.
So it's a kind of balance.
It's always a balance, yeah. And we're always looking to be in harmony, right? We want harmony, just like an orchestra. And you want harmony between the different areas of your life so that it flows. And sometimes there's areas that are really great, areas that are not, and other times it's a little calmer. And the more you can be in that nice, gentle flow, the more your life works, and I find that the happier people are.
Yeah, I think so. So yes, what links do you see between neuroscience and success, and what we can do with our brain?
Well, that's a loaded question with a lot of different potential answers.
Yes.
But the first thing to understand is, no matter what has happened to us in the past,
Yes.
whether it's a traumatic event, a failure, somebody who's hurt us, a mistake that we've made, we have to understand that the way that our brain works is it does as much as possible to move away from anything that could potentially hurt us. So the first thing that your brain does is keep you alive.
Yes.
But the second thing that it does is it keeps you away from hurting yourself. Whether it's real or imagined, your brain will move away first. And it'll do protection mechanism first. So if you've had an experience from the past where you've made a mistake, or you've disappointed yourself, you've disappointed other people, your parents, your teachers, your brothers, your sisters, your co-workers, your brain is always looking for associations and similarities in what you want to do that might lead to the same disappointment or the same pain that you've had before. And as soon as it senses any type of correlation, it lights up the part of the brain that remembers the past and brings all of your past into the present moment so you feel it, and projects the possible negative consequences into the future. As soon as that happens, your motor cortex shuts off, the part of your brain that takes action, and the motivational